Good morning. Today we're going to be going over social media and Engage 121, a great tool for us to use that will help us with making the best use of our time. And I'm sorry I hit the wrong button there. Sorry about that. Okay. All right. Now, we will get going. Social media and Engage 121. We talked about this a couple of months ago, and it's always a good thing. I believe that repetition bears repeating with all of our training. There's so much to learn and so much to hear. So I'm going to talk about social media and Engage 121, a great social media tool that will help you make the best use of your time and efforts. So as usual, we talk about habits, attitudes, and skills. We're teaching skills and tools in our regular classes. We also encourage the development of good habits in terms of work, making the best use of your time and energy. First of all, those have to be disciplines, but hopefully they become good habits that will make you a lot more productive, will make you a lot more money, and make your, even more importantly, your life a lot more enjoyable and your time with your family a lot more. Obviously, all these things tie together with having a good attitude about learning new things, about implementing new disciplines. And the more you do that, the better your attitude becomes and the more enthusiastic you can become. And that has a huge impact on working with people when they see that enthusiasm and great attitude from you. So, social media. Let's go over a couple of general things here. Introduction. Social media is not some magic potion. I still hear people talk about, oh, I made $80 billion from Facebook or whatever. Okay, that's great. That's wonderful. Don't think you're going to do that. It's not a magic potion, but it is something that we should all be thinking about doing more of in our business. Some of the people that are a little more mature, I will say, may find this a little bit more difficult to implement into their businesses, though I have to say most people, regardless of whatever age they are using most of the big three, and we'll talk about those in a moment. Many of the younger, newer agents are very comfortable with social media, but they're not really using it to the best extent for business purposes. So number two there, you get out of it whatever you put into it. So like anything else, you have to have a concentrated effort in what you're doing with your social media as a part of your business development. So again, it has to be then a part of a larger marketing plan for you. It in and of itself won't be the magic bullet. The goal with this, as with any aspect of your marketing, is to eventually get to the point where you have a face-to-face meeting, where you get to meet with somebody, the proverbial appointment, we like to say in the business. So first things first, though, as we think about social media, before you can make the most of it, you're probably going to need to go in and do some decluttering of your social media that you're using right now. And that will include things like unfriending, unfollowing, making sure that you're part of lists as opposed to just broad brushing everything. Again, this is from the standpoint of making the most of your social media for business purposes. And we'll talk for a second. You may want to, in fact, I encourage you to have a personal page, a business account, and separate those two things. Some things you may post on both, but you may not post all the things or as much on your personal account. Number two, ration your time. If you do what so many of us do, you get the little ding, you get the little click, the little screen thing comes on that says, so-and-so just sent you a Facebook Messenger saying, thanks. Okay, get rid of that. Make sure that that doesn't come up and interrupt you in the middle of what you're doing. Change your settings. You don't need to see that. The key is, as with anything else, develop the habits, the disciplines that become habits of rationing your time to work on social media. This is part of your business and developing your business. Now, in the evenings, and you want to enjoy yourself and being on Facebook and seeing those little messenger things come up, fine, but not during the day when you're working or when you're in an appointment. So one of the keys to making the best use of these systems is there may be things that come across that you do want to read or make note of or forward or whatever to other people and share. Forward things that come through, links to articles, to your Evernote reading list, and then you can look at them later on. So just some keys there. So The social media whirlwind. Probably some of the people who are closer to my age may feel this way. Some of the younger people are pretty comfortable with all the different things that are out there. But from a business standpoint, what is it that we make use of? What do we use from a business standpoint? And yes, there's lots of new things. And yes, a lot of younger people say Facebook is passe and outdated or whatever. But Facebook is still the biggest and has the most penetration, the most spread, the most connection by like a 2 or 3 times multiple over number 2, Twitter. So if you want to do this for business and make the best use of your career and use this to grow your business and to make your lives easier, then you better be using Facebook because it's the biggest. Again, personally, you may not think it's the coolest, but for your business, it is the coolest. Second is Twitter, of course, and then LinkedIn. Those are the big 3, and I'm going to focus on those 3 for us today. So what do we do with social media from a business standpoint? 3 elements we're going to talk about today. There's personal marketing, there's property marketing, which sometimes most people put that as number 1, and that's not the right way to do it. And then number 3, I'm going to talk about content management, because the key to both of the first 2 there is content management and building relationships. So I'm going to give you some tips, and that's what Engage 121, the resource that's available at the BHHS Resource Center, actually does for you. So personal marketing, property marketing, and content management. So some basics to get started with for personal marketing. Spread the icons. If you don't have on your signature already the social media links to all your accounts, put them on there right now. And again, from a business standpoint, the ones you want on your business email address are going to be Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn primarily. You probably don't want to put 6 or 7 on there like those pieces of pastel chalk, but put on the primary ones that will be the most help to you. And cross-post to other sites and include the links, as I said. Everywhere you can, include the links to the other things. So, and cross-post. So that's the way you're going to get the most penetration with your social media. And you want to encourage people to go to these things on your own website. Make sure you've got those icons so people can go out from your website and vice versa. So social media, the 3 T's of Facebook. We'll look at that first. Tag, tell a story, try something new. Tag, tell a story, and try something new. So first of all, tag. The more you tag things, the more engagement you get with things. So what do we tag? Where are we? Cities, neighborhoods, familiar places, brands, public figures. For your business standpoint, you don't want to be posting pictures of your toddler and tagging your toddler in there, probably. Although if you post a picture of some clients who've just moved into their new house and you've stopped by and their toddler is in the backyard pool and or whatever it might be, then maybe with their permission you tag them. But the main things you want to do is to establish connection with areas, neighborhoods, and groups of things. So tag, tag, tag. Number 2, tell a story. This is crucial, telling a story. I see so many people who just put listings, listings, listings. The last item there, don't overdo listings. That's what I see most people do. Check out my new listing, 123 Main Street, $500,000, whatever it might be. That's not the best use of your Facebook business page or your personal page as well. So do you want to put listings on there? Sure. But the key would be to tell a story about that listing. Wanda and Joe are retiring and moving to their dream home in Florida or whatever it might be. To the extent that you're not giving away things that are too personal, obviously, you probably don't want to post, Wanda and Joe are getting a divorce and I'm helping Joe buy a new home with his new girlfriend. Probably don't want to post that on Facebook. But if it's a story that is, housing and owning real estate is still a huge part of the American dream, and most of the time that buying and selling houses is a fun, positive thing that can tell a wonderful story. Again, get permission from your clients to share some aspect of their stories. Be careful not to divulge too much too personally about them, of course. So tell stories, build relationships, and show you care. That is crucial. You care about the neighborhood. You care about your clients. Show that by telling stories about them and not just saying, this is a new listing, it's $500,000, it's a great house, go look at it, bring your buyer clients. Don't do that. Tell the stories. Share your own neighborhood and where you live. Most of us tend to focus in our business in areas where we live and work and enjoy and share and those kinds of things. So tell stories. If you live and sell property down in Broad Ripple or Meridian Kessler or in Newburgh, tell stories about that community and share stories about that area so that people, when they're thinking about real estate in Newburgh or in certain areas of West Lafayette or wherever it might be, they think of you because you've made it clear that you're engaged there. You know everybody and everything going on in those neighborhoods. So the key is to show you care, share your neighborhood and groups, and remember, pictures are worth 1,000 words. Images tell stories. So always include photos of people primarily. Again, this is one of those things when you show a picture of a new listing or show a picture of somebody, I just sold this house or whatever, show the picture of the people in the house and enjoying their new house and things like that. So again, be careful not just to focus on my new listing, my new listing, my new listing. That actually can turn people off. So the third T then is try something new. So again, that last one I'll comment on first. Quit posting fake selfies of yourself. Selfies with you, with clients, maybe, that's fine. But selfies of you doing things, when you want to build that neighborhood engagement and that kind of thing, show other people doing things. Don't show yourself, no matter how cute you are, in doing things. Show other people, of course. So avoid the selfies. Again, this is in your business page for Facebook and your business account for Twitter, etc. So some things to try to add. Facebook has a call to action button, a CTA they're referred to, call to action, and it's called Shop Now, which may or may not be the best thing. I don't know whether you can change that or not. I just put one of those on a page recently. But one of the things that you can do with a Shop Now, a call to action button on Facebook, is remember at our BHHS Indiana website, we have 2 wonderful pamphlets, booklets that people can get electronically. One is a home buyer's guide, the other is a home seller's guide, and they're excellent tools for first-time home buyers or home sellers who haven't done it for a good while to get. You can grab those, link a PDF of that to your Facebook account, and put a CTA, call to action. So if somebody stumbles onto your Facebook account because they're looking about information about the little swim club that you're a member of in your neighborhood or whatever it might be, and they see that, they can push that call to action Shop Now button and get that. And what a great way to connect with new clients. So again, I've mentioned business page. I really encourage people to stop using your personal Facebook page for your listings and things like that. Obviously, many times on our personal pages, we're posting things that are personal. And some of those things might get into family matters, relationship matters, religion and politics. And most of the time, those kinds of things are a little too personal for someone who doesn't know us and doesn't really care about us. And if we're trying to engage them in our business, the last thing we want to do is to overexpose ourselves and our political, religious, personal relationship issues and feelings and things like that. We want to focus on them getting to know us as a person, of course, but as a person related to our business. And so develop a business page. Do share personal things on there, but remember the purpose of your business page is to develop relationships so that you can grow your business, and maybe those people will become friends and you'll friend them on your personal page, but maybe not. But remember to keep these things separate. So if you don't have a business page, that's step 1 right now. When we get done with this training, get into your Facebook account and establish a business page for your real estate business. So a third element there is remember to be putting in fascinating facts, interesting things that you come across. And we're going to talk about where you can get information on things like that. But put interesting things in there, not just things that relate to you personally, but things that you learn. Hopefully you're reading lots of books and great articles to develop yourself as a business person in your business here. Share some of the things you read. Everybody enjoys that kind of thing. And again, that's probably going to be more on your business page, not so much or a different approach on your personal page. And then this last one, try contests. Put a new listing on your business page, and you talk about the story. Set up a contest. Market is really hot. The last 2 listings I've sold in the first 5 days. Guess the sale date, and I'll put your name in a hat, and the winner gets a $50 Starbucks card, or whatever it might be. That might get some engagement for you. Guess the price, guess the closing date, guess the contract date, whatever it might be. So different things to engage people and get them to come back and to share your page with other people. And again, that final thing there, avoid those purely personal, individual selfies, no matter how cute we are. So one of the things you can do then with a business page is you can boost a Facebook business page. You can spend whatever budget you want, and you can boost your page for a certain time. 3 days, 5 days, a week, a month, whatever. And you can set your own budget, and you can set up your targets of, as you can see there, audience, people who like your page and their friends, or just people you choose to target, or whatever. You can go in and set up target audiences in Facebook, and then you can spend a little bit of money. And you can see there, for $30 in this particular example that I was playing with here, you could reach between 5,000 and 13,000 additional targets. So when you're going to spend a few dollars, and you don't need to do this on a constant basis, but maybe you do this when you do a post of a great personal story, somebody that you just sold a house for and they moved in, and it's a wonderful story, and you're telling their story and this kind of thing, and with their permission you put a picture of their family and this kind of thing. You know, that kind of thing could be a really great one to boost a little bit. So remember, when you do boost or increase or have a post on your Facebook account, make sure you include a link to your own website, and that will allow it to be clickable and get right out to your website. So keep that in mind. These things are all linked. So these are the 3 things, the 3 T's of Facebook. So let's talk about Twitter a little bit now. In Twitter, many of the younger, newer agents are using Twitter much more frequently, and frankly is their primary form of communication. That's great for little messages back and forth. Hey, I'm running late, be there in 10, whatever it might be, those kinds of things. But I run into this all the time talking with agents who end up getting crosswise in a conversation because they relied too long in a conversation on Twitter. And Twitter is very much open to misconstruction, misconstruing, misunderstanding things, because number one, oftentimes if we're using Twitter and we're doing the voice-activated tweet because we're in our car, it could put the wrong word in there and you may not notice that. So here's my suggestion. Use Twitter for limited stuff, for basic kinds of things. If you're in a negotiation or a serious discussion with your client on something, for goodness sakes, pick up the phone, especially if it's more than yes or no or running 10 minutes late or whatever. Pick up the phone when you get into anything that is more complex than those basic kinds of things. So Twitter, how to make the best use of Twitter in building your business. A couple of tips here. Just as with Facebook, you can be posting lots of interesting information, and you should be using Twitter to post information. So if you put something on Facebook that's a little article or something and a link to something, put it on Twitter as well. Obviously, you're limited to 140 characters, but if you put a photo in there and just a few words, a photo is only 23 characters, so you can put in several photos in there. Most people probably figure that photos take a lot more space and a lot more characters. They're only 23, so put in photos. Most of the time photos, as I said earlier, a picture's worth 1,000 words, and photos help us sell the story rather than just simply tell something. And then use hashtags in property descriptions. Most of us don't think about that. Use hashtags regularly, as frequently as well, not as frequently as possible. So look at these stats. Tweets with hashtags receive twice as much engagement than those without hashtags. So if you tweet something, put one or two in there, and you'll get twice as much. However, look at that second one. Tweets with one or two have 21% higher engagement than those with three or more. So if you put in too many, it actually will lower it. Tweets that use more than two hashtags actually show a 17% drop in engagement. So one or two hashtags is the ideal number. And again, with one or two, you're going to get twice as much engagement as those without hashtags in them. So that's Twitter. Again, use it on a limited basis, but one of the beautiful things when you've got some great content, a story or something, you can put it in Facebook, put it in Twitter at the same time. Use Twitter not just to be communicating that you're going to be 5 or 10 minutes late for your meeting. So then moving on to the third one of those big three, and that would be LinkedIn. I know people, when I've talked about this before, a number of people have immediately said, everybody on LinkedIn is just trying to find a job. Well, that may be true. I'm not sure that that's true, but to the extent that that is true, stop and think for 1 second. People looking for jobs, what's one of the primary reasons that people buy and sell homes? Changes in jobs. So if you stop and think about it, the people posting on LinkedIn looking for jobs are typically not people who are expecting to get a job working at Starbucks or a grocery store or something like that. There's nothing wrong with that, obviously. But the people on LinkedIn who are looking for jobs many times are professionals, and many times they're high-level professionals doing things on LinkedIn and sending around their resumes. So if you stop and think about one of the primary reasons that people buy and sell houses is change of jobs, why would you not want to spend time in a place where people are doing that on a regular basis and make your presence known as an expert in helping people do just what they might do when they get that next higher level job? So yes, it is for looking for jobs, and why wouldn't you follow that along? So, but main thing is it's specifically set up in a broader sense for referrals, for people giving referrals. There's those endorsements where people endorse each other. And does it get a little silly sometimes? Sure. But when you get somebody endorsing you and you endorse back and forth, it's a great way to get attention and spread the word. So do it. Get on there and endorse people and have them endorse you, and spread your network. One of the great things about LinkedIn, you can take 1 day a month and take an hour or half an hour and go in and focus on looking at all the people that you're connected with, and then looking at who they're connected with and sending out new LinkedIn friend requests. Because most of the time when we get a LinkedIn request where it shows that, David Hassler just sent me, I don't know David Hassler, but he's a friend with Wally Jones and Sally Pippi, and I know them, and they're really good. So, yeah, sure, I'll take David's friend request. So it's a great way to get a referred friend request and expand your network by looking at that. And I'm always amazed when I do this, and I don't do it as often as I should, how many people that I'm able to add to my network on LinkedIn when I specifically go down and ask to become linked with people through others I'm already linked with. So there are also then business-oriented groups that are formed, and the whole thing is that it's business-oriented, number one, I guess that point. LinkedIn is business-oriented, not social-oriented, not children-oriented, not schools, not the arts. It is business-oriented, and so this is a great place to share content, which I'm going to move on to in just a minute. And there are groups that you can join, real estate groups, et cetera, where you can share information, share content, post things, and spread the word. So again, LinkedIn, yep, it is for people looking for jobs, and that's a great thing for us realtors, real estate professionals. So just a second to talk about the other social media networks that are out there: Snapchat, Pinterest, Instagram, YouTube, Google Plus, and blogs. Snapchat is one of the newer ones, and I hear a lot of folks talking about using Snapchat, that's even replacing Twitter, because you can have a selfie with it as well. What a great combination, a selfie and a tweet, so to speak. That's great. Use it for personal. That's fun. Have fun with it. But it is still way, way behind the big three in terms of its penetration and engagement with the public out there. So it's not yet stepped into a role where it can help you develop your business. Use it for personal purposes. That's fine. The other ones as well, just going on down that list. So if you want to make use of those, that's great for personal things. If you want to set up a YouTube channel and do an occasional 1 or 2 minute YouTube on a new listing and put it on there, link that to your Facebook account, that's great. But YouTube in and of itself would not be your primary channel. But it could be a supplemental thing. So let's move on to the third element we've talked about personal marketing, and we've talked somewhat, although I didn't mention the term, property marketing. They're sort of intertwined when you're doing things and you're building community, and you do mention a new listing, or you do mention helping somebody buy a house. That's the property marketing side. But you want to integrate that together with everything you're doing. It isn't really separate. And how do we supplement and make sure that all of these things, those two primary things we're doing, are the most successful? And that has to do with our content management. What it is that we are putting out there to build an audience, to build relationships, to show we care, going back to that first element, the importance of showing community and that we care. And that's the content management, the stuff you publish. So where do you get all this information? What are the concerns I hear from people? I don't know what to post on here. Where do I get information? So, well, first of all, if you stop and think about it, we've already talked about this. You and testimonials. What a great thing to post if you've just helped somebody move into their new house and you film a 30-second Videolicious app, and video of them. And again, Videolicious is that free, great app that we can use that's available at the BHHS Resource Center. You film a little 30-second video of them, and then you can post that on YouTube. You can post a link to that on your Facebook, your Twitter, all your accounts. Wow. What a great testimonial. They're just saying what a great job, how excited they are in their new house, and et cetera, et cetera. And they personalize it. And yes, they probably will want to mention you. Maybe they don't even mention you, but you can just put there that I'm delighted to have helped Wally and Jim with their new home. And then they talk about how excited they are. That's great. So you and testimonials, obviously the first thing, don't overdo that. Don't let it become selfie, 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 obviously. You can get lots of information at the BHHS website and other real estate news sites. Risk Media, the daily information there on their website, the Inman News site, the Realtor.com. There's many, many of these sites, most of which can be free, or you can get information about real estate and about the market and what's going on, and houses and property and renovations and things, and you can share that kind of information. You can also, if you have a specific thing that you're interested in trying to target to, or whatever it might be, you can set up a Google alert. These are great things. I've done this when I'm working with certain business clients, to set up a Google alert where you go in and you say, hey, Google, I want to get an email every day on any article that is published anywhere on the internet by any source that has to do with the company Aprimo, because I'm trying to romance them to work on their relocations for them. So you can set up a Google alert, and then every day when an article comes in on that company or that neighborhood or that process that is being done in terms of reviewing the approvals for a new building in that neighborhood where you're concerned about it. And then you can post things immediately from those Google alerts. So it's a great way to keep you informed of a specific topic or topics. And so set up a Google alert and make use of those for content management. Activities, obviously, what are the things you're involved with? I talk often of the kind of things, join groups, join clubs. I love to bicycle. I haven't done much bicycling the last couple of years, but when I did more bicycling, that would be a great audience, and I could post things of the bicycle rides that I went on and share that kind of thing. You'll make yourself interesting to other people who share that love of that same hobby: golf, bicycling, bowling, whatever it might be. So the activities and the hobbies that you have and take part in with groups, make use of those. Show yourself. Again, that's not a selfie. Show yourself with other people, or show the other people, hey, it was great to join all my friends. Don't even show yourself in the picture. So, and then reading, we already mentioned that. Share the books you're reading, the articles you're reading, things like that, and share the knowledge that you're gaining about insights into the business and the way the market works. So just some overall tips, and then I'm going to talk about Engage 121 to finish things up here. Did you know, regarding social media, Siri on your iPhone pulls from Yelp? So if you have any reviews on Yelp, you might want to check them out. You might want to do some things on Yelp and make sure that anything with regard to you that comes from Yelp is positive, since Siri pulls things from Yelp. I didn't know that till I was putting this together. Pinterest works in China, so if you go to China or you have clients overseas in China, you might want to move Pinterest up your list in terms of a focus for your social media. Here's some details. Image file names are important for SEO, search engine optimization. So when you attach that photo to Facebook or post it on Facebook, when you attach a link to that photo in Twitter or whatever, don't just call it XYZ3450, the name that comes up that's assigned to it. Give it a file name, Joe and Sally in their new house. And in your descriptions, when you put a description under the photo, don't just put 123 Main Street. Put a great description of the photo. So that helps SEO, search engine optimization. That means more people will be directed and find that you put in there. Facebook has a call to action button. We've already talked about that, the Shop Now button. I've put one of those on my another business Facebook that I have. I haven't looked at it to see whether you can change the words from Shop Now to something else. Hopefully you could, because obviously Shop Now in a real estate business may or may not be the best way to characterize that. But it's a call to action, the CTA button, and take a look at the ways you can incorporate that. LinkedIn groups can be powerful marketing tools. We talked about that. You can market yourself to other groups and join them, and not just groups of other realtors, but groups of other businesses that you maybe want to refer to and get referrals from. And then the last one, you can get great content automatically at the BHHS resource, social media resource. So that brings us now to Engage 121, which is a fabulous tool available to us at no cost at the BHHS Social Media Resource Center. So if you go to the BHHS resource, log in there, and then go to the dashboard, you'll see there's a social media resource tab. Click on that and it'll take you to the media area, and you'll see Engage 121. And there are a number of options where you can go and pay money to have them curate things for you on an ongoing basis, and it can get expensive. And if you've got a big business, you might want to do that because it may be worthwhile. But for our purposes, we're talking about the free Engage 121 daily email that comes out to see hot content. And you'll see here they are set up with connections to 4 of the major social media areas, the primary ones that we've talked about: Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and they include Google+. I personally have not done much with Google+, so if there are those out there who've done much with that and want to help with that, I'd love to hear from you, and we can talk more about that one. So, but those 4 elements are connected there automatically. What you do is you sign up for this, and you'll install your link. You'll set up your link to each one, and then every day you'll get a daily email that comes to you that's got 5 articles that you can choose to post or not post. Now, personally, I don't want to post something every single day. And I don't want to post the same article necessarily to all three of my connections. And I've got Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn connected on all of mine. And I don't always want to post an article to Facebook that I think may be more appropriate for LinkedIn or whatever. So I pick and choose. I think if you do 2 posts a week, that's probably sufficient. Again, you don't want to overdo it with people. But most of these articles, as you'll see here, are related to real estate. Some of them are kind of cute that you will tie to your personality. Here's a rich and rustic bark house, cladding house with bark shingles inside and out. There's one on mirror decorating ideas for the home. Here's one for the new best smart lock. They have other articles. Again, I'm only showing the first 3. There's usually 2 more. And they have other articles usually that might get into financing. There was one just last week on why Brexit, Britain's exit from the European Union, may be very good for real estate in America over the next few years. So I put that one on LinkedIn and my Facebook account, and I posted that to all 3 of them. So personally, with my approach to the business, I'm probably not going to be posting things about bark house shingles or mirror decorating ideas. I might post a best smart lock, but if you really are good in this business at helping people with staging and things like that, and people really appreciate your abilities in that, and help them when they bought a house with a little decorating and things like that, and that's kind of part of what you're all about, then maybe you do send around one about mirror decorating ideas, because that's your personality and the strength of your approach in the business. So every day you'll get 4 or 5 articles, and you can click on the blue there, the title of the article, read the article, and see whether or not it really is one that you want to post or not. And then when you want to post it, you click then on the caret on the right side there. So again, to read it, sorry about that. To read it, you would click on the blue. Then if you want to post it, you click on that caret, and that will then take you to the next page where you can set up. It will bring you to this page where it shows all the platforms that you've got it connected to: your Facebook business account, your Twitter account, and your LinkedIn account. And you can actually go in then and add, as in Facebook, you can add a comment. Hey, check out this great article on rustic bark house shingles, or whatever it might be. Hey, to my surprise, Brexit may be a great thing, so I'm tired of hearing all the negativity. Whatever you want to put in there, you can add a comment to it on Facebook, and you can probably even add lines to it. There's 94 characters left in Twitter, so you could actually go in at the beginning of that and put a little comment on using up to 94 characters. So then once you've done that, you click on submit, and it will then link automatically these stories. And I've been mainly doing this with LinkedIn and Facebook, and not as often with Twitter because I'm not that active on Twitter. But wherever you're active, this is a great tool to give you automatic content, so you don't have to spend any time looking for great content that's related to real estate and the business. Now, is this covering the things like building community and showing you care with your neighbors and your neighborhood? No, this is not filling that side of the bill. So that's why I say maybe 2, maybe 1 article like this on your social media, and then maybe 1 or 2 of personal things that you've done. Hey, just had a homeowners association meeting. We've decided to build a new swimming pool, that kind of thing that shows your engagement in your neighborhood. So last thing here, 7 social media rules of thumb. Number 1, think locally. Think locally. And gosh, the power just went out in the hallway, but thank goodness not in here. Think locally. The key is to develop community, and community starts with the smaller areas. So think locally. Make yourself useful. Showing a picture of yourself, a selfie, being cute isn't useful to anybody. Now, do your friends like that? Sure. On your business page, no. Make yourself useful with tips, with tools, with links to things that can be helpful. And number 3, when you can't create, curate. Curate is what we've been talking about with getting things from Engage 121 with the Google system there where you can get articles sent to you through Google. That's curate. That means you're collecting things and then posting certain things. So you don't have to create everything yourself. You can curate things. You'll get information, get content from other directions. And when you see something good that you like, you don't always have to schedule it. You don't always have to post it right away. Put it on a schedule to do it and spread it out. And then also don't spread yourself too thin. That's why I suggest separate these into business pages and personal pages, and make sure you do not get those notifications from Facebook Messenger, which I just got one while I was doing the class here, so I need to make sure I turn that off so it doesn't come across my computer and my iPad and my phone. Make sure you don't spread yourself too thin, and make sure that you've got a focus. The next one there, don't try to buy your friends. Again, that ties back up to that second one there. Be useful to them. That's what will engage people with you and engage people to want to work with you as a business professional and ideally become your friend. But that's what we're all about here, is to attract people to build long-term relationships because you're helpful, useful, and you care about them, not just about yourself. And then set goals and stick to them. We talk about that so much in everything that we do. Set your goals and stick to them, whether it's to work 1 hour a week on social media or 2 days for 45 minutes, 2 mornings a week, and to update and go through this stuff and to curate things, as opposed to doing it every time you get that little beep or looking at it constantly like so many of us do. So habits to think about here. Social media is a CEO activity. We always talk in terms of peak producer activities. The CEO, the Rainmaker marketing hat, the COO, the hat that we wear when we're engaging with people and serving clients, helping them buy and sell homes, looking at houses, listing properties. That's the COO activities. And we're going to spend more time there, of course. And then the CFO hat, the financial officer hat, that's the moneymaker hat where we are going to be making money. Social media falls into the CEO activity hat. So that means it's one of those big rocks if you approach it this way. So think about that, filling your jar with priorities, and the CEO activities are first, not most. You will spend most of your time doing the COO activities, working with people on transactions, showing houses, negotiating, holding hands and things like that. You will spend most of your time there, but if you don't put the big rocks first, you won't get to them. So that's why we talk about that. And the key is not to prioritize your schedule, but to schedule your priorities. Not to prioritize your schedule. Again, that would mean you wait and see what's thrown at you, and then you try to set priorities. That doesn't work. What you need to do is step back and decide what are my priorities, and that means those CEO activities, and schedule those priorities first. So to finish up, the skill of fine-tuning your social media outreach, the habit of planning and optimizing your social media time and program will add to success for you and give you the attitude of knowing you're using the latest tools to yield better results, and gratitude. And remember, gratitude stands for great attitude, so helping you with your attitude. So make use of social media. Do so in a controlled and proactive way to build your business, and you will lead a much happier and enjoyable life and get more out of this business and be more successful. So hopefully that gives some people some tips today. See if we have any questions, and we will end the recording. Any questions from anybody? Sounds good. I will close off the recording.